Welcome to Enterprise Unleashed, Business Law and Innovation. My name is Richard Corey. This is my show. Today we have a very special episode with a very special guest. She's best known for discovering and developing 14-time Grammy Award winner, Oscar winner, and 2-time Golden Globe winning icon Lady Gaga. She's featured in Forbes, where she was honored by the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She's Grammy nominated herself and was awarded VH1's Best Emerging Artist. She's now the co-founder and president of a new music streaming platform, MusicSoul. It's about to revolutionize the music industry itself. Here with us today is the esteemed Wendy Starland. Welcome to the show, Wendy.
Thanks so much for having me, Richard. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you mentioned, I am best known for discovering and developing Lady Gaga from an unknown artist into a billion-dollar brand. I've worked with a ton of artists across the board, having been an artist myself, signed to Universal, touring the world, honored by the Songwriters Hall of Fame, Grammy nominated on Moby's album Last Night, written and opened up for tons of different artists, including, doing some writing with the Black Eyed Peas, Snoop Dogg, Wu-Tang Clan, opening for people like Jack White and Sheryl Crow, the Foo Fighters. So lots of different artists in various different genres. And I've loved every minute of it.
Well, I want to talk about how did you get into, what were some of the pivotal moments of you discovering Lady Gaga? What happened there?
Well, basically, I had been working with a multi-platinum producer, and we had been writing songs for tons of huge artists and basically holding up the Sony building. I mean, it was really pretty amazing. And so what happened was I said, this is fantastic, but all of these artists are already really famous and their brand is already built. I would love to build an artist from scratch and make them into a famous artist. So I went on the hunt. I went to over 60 shows and came back with one person who we ended up turning into Lady Gaga. And so
we now know it's Lady Gaga.
Yeah, exactly. And it was such an incredible experience, mainly because we did such a deep dive. We basically were looking into the marketplace to say, okay, there are so much competitors. There's so many competitors in the space where, the girl is trying to be super sexy and another or very, sweet and pretty imperfect. At the time, Norah Jones was the biggest artist on the planet, so having sold something like over 25 million records, which is one of the biggest of all time. So everything was soft, pretty imperfect. So we said, we got to go in the exact opposite direction, make sure that she is edgy and bold and something you can't take your eyes off of, so that we're really filling a niche that wasn't being filled in the marketplace. And so look to a lot of inspiration in a brand new community. So the gay community, for example, in Manhattan, where I discovered her, dressed in these very flamboyant outfits and outrageous outfits. So I said, okay, well, let's take something like that. Or who are some of the gay icons? Well, Freddie Mercury of the band Queen, huge gay icon, said, okay, well, what's a huge Queen song? Radio Gaga. Okay, we're going to take the Gaga.
That's what you got the name?
That's exactly right. So
I love it.
Yeah, so it's basically, it's not a radio, it's a lady. So Lady Gaga, here's the new name. So
and what we know today as one of the biggest artists in history.
That's right.
So before we get into MusicSoul, I want to start the segue by talking about some of the pitfalls and challenges that recording artists are facing with the current music streaming platforms available today. Can we talk a little bit about that? What are your thoughts?
So pretty much across the board, it's about 0.004 cents per stream. So we're talking, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon, you name it. It's really, if it's a little more, a little less, it's not much more. And so I said to myself, A billion streams now equals less than $45,000 for a billion streams. So, what is the point of even trying to make it? Because even artists at the highest level, their music streaming is a loss leader. And so, it doesn't matter whether you're successful or not, you're not going to be making a ton of money off of your streaming. And so, I decided
So
time.
essentially, I didn't mean to cut you off, but essentially, the only way artists are making true money in today's world is by touring and merch.
That's exactly right. Merchandising and ticket sales.
So I remember how when you were on stage, I saw you at the Fairmont last week. You were phenomenal, and so
Thank
thank you
you.
for being on my show. I'm so happy to have you here.
That's so
One of the
much.
stats that you gave regarding Snoop Dogg was kind of blew my mind. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned. So Snoop Dogg said that he got about a billion streams or over a billion streams on Spotify and received a check for less than $45,000. So it was one of those things where, when great performance no longer equals great reward, what is your motivation and incentive for trying to make it to the next level in a broken system?
So is this kind of what inspired you to co-found MusicSoul?
Yes, absolutely. I got a call from a genius technologist named Eris Persidis. He has $12 billion in exits from the AI driven technologies that he's created and sold. And he said to me, Wendy, how in the world did you create $1 billion brand out of Lady Gaga when music is essentially free? And so I went through the process with him and I said, here are the hurdles we needed to overcome. Here are the points of acceleration that really made her into a global icon. And with a team of coders, we automated the process and created an ecosystem that matches, AI matches opt-in consumers from brands with the content that they want to see and automates that engagement, allowing the content creator to receive 70% of streaming and advertising revenue. So on any other platform right now, what's the percentage of advertising that artists receive? 0%. And so we decided
Artists are going to receive 70% of all the revenue generated on your platform
of, yes,
of
streaming.
the streaming and advertising revenue. Okay. So how did you come up with the name MusicSoul?
Well, I actually didn't come up with it. Eris Persidis, my business partner, came up with it. And there are different verticals. So there's music soul, sports soul, film soul, lots of different verticals for this technology, which is basically a one-stop shop.
So, all right, let's talk a little bit more about the technology that you're implementing with MusicSoul and eventually with your other verticals. So you have a integration that's driven by artificial intelligence. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, basically, we decided that I told him one of the main problems is on Spotify, regardless of how much you get paid out, unless your record label is buying the top spot on one of the Spotify playlists, who's ever going to find you? There's this curation problem. And so I said it would be much wiser to have a data-driven solution that automates the engagement, because brands have a problem. Brands have no way to advertise that's effective and not spammy, because literally all of their TV commercials were stripped from them because Netflix has no television commercials. Magazines are basically obsolete. Who do you see purchasing a magazine subscription? So he was speaking with the chief marketing officer of Home Depot, who said to him, listen, I have no way to get in front of these 100 million opt-in consumers that I have from Home Depot. Can you build me something in music? Because it's sticky. Consumers are going to interact and engage with music and music related activations, regardless of whether or not Home Depot is in the mix. And so if we can put something like Home Depot or these brands into the mix, then we can use their channels to flip the script and have them distribute to their opt-in consumers. And so we use AI to match the right eyeballs to the right content and automate that engagement so that content creators can rely on this and say it's like the Uber for content.
So let me ask you this: with like, how exactly are the AI brand partnerships going to work with respect to the artists and your end consumers, your users?
they come on as advertisers. They come on and say, listen, we want to advertise. We're going to pay this much to be on the platform. The platform is free for users and for charities, for the regular common user or artists, completely free. But for the brands, they pay to be on the platform. And so they give us a set of shared criteria that they're looking for. Each user will answer some questions as soon as they log on. And based on a set of shared criteria, the AI matches them.
Okay, so from a legal perspective, as you know, I'm a business attorney and entertainment attorney. How did you go about getting the licenses? Would you get a pass-through license? Like, what
That's right.
exactly? Okay, so does that give you a blanket to use all the music on the internet,
That's
or
right.
are you limited in any capacity?
Yeah, it's a blanket license that allows us to use all of the music.
So you are going to disrupt the music industry as we know it.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I
But it's
love it.
not just the music industry, it's literally influencers. I mean, influencers don't get paid a lot of money. They get paid a lot of money from who they build themselves up as a brand, but they're not getting paid a lot of money from the views that they're receiving on Instagram, for example. And so this is something that can really monetize, and we'll be able to create new influencers. You don't have to, on MusicSoul, there's 0 followers and 0 likes, because whether you have 1 million followers already or not, we're going to give you 100 million from Home Depot and 150 million from Estee Lauder, for example. So
Sure.
it's really, it changes the whole model. And it's kind of like how you used to be able to own a record or a CD or an album, and now you don't need to own it because you've got it available to you through streaming, and we're doing that with followers.
So retaining 70% of streaming and ad revenue, that's unprecedented. Do you think this is going to open up a completely new world of opportunities for artists and their creativity, and as well as their independence?
This will create millions of jobs all over the world. It's really going to revolutionize the way that content creators monetize their lives. This is going to be a big deal, because we have AI matching the correct eyeballs from the opt-in consumers from the brands to the content itself and automating that engagement. People can rely on that income coming in. So kind of like Uber, if it's a New York City, if you have a car, you have a job. A New York City taxi cab driver is looking for people on the side of the road to be their next passenger. But if you're an Uber driver, the next passenger is teed up for you. Now on MusicSoul, if you create music or videos, you've got a job, but instead of your next passenger being teed up, you can get 100 million eyeballs teed up for you. So that is a huge difference because you're making 70% straight up. It's
So with your AI driven model, you're connecting the artist with the consumer as well as with the brands that are, it's like a trifecta of collaboration through your artificial intelligence integrated platform. Is that how
That's
it works?
right. And cross promotion, because the brand needs to get in front of the consumer on a daily basis. And this way, they're getting the most targeted data and the most targeted users possible to their brand. So, unlike a billboard on the side of the road where there might be lots of visibility to all the cars on the side of the road, those aren't targeted users that are going to be interested. Based on the questions that we ask people as soon as they sign up, we will know who is going to be interested in what products and which opt-in users are going to be interested in which music and artists. So
I understand you've raised sufficient funds to have a working model. So this isn't just an idea. This thing works. It's alive and well, and you're getting ready to launch within the near future. Why don't we talk about that? Like, what stage are you where with respect to launching and making this available to the world?
Sure. So we raised $4.5 million to create the code itself. It's 1.5 million lines of code. So it's
Whoa,
incredible.
whoa, 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 whoa. But just to put it in perspective, 1.5 million lines of code. Can you compare that to any of the other platforms that are available and how you're created this Frankenstein monster that's getting ready to be unleashed? Why don't we talk about that?
Sure. If you look at the other platforms, they have about approximately 15 engagement functions that mainly overlap. As you know, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, I mean, they're all pretty much the same. Instagram Reels are the same thing as, TikTok videos or whatnot. So it's a lot of the same. We have at this point 80 engagement functions. So that's also another reason why we're able to expand the way that we are and give so much money away, because our pie is this much bigger. Instead of just scraping pennies from a couple different engagement functions, we're making 30% of many more engagement functions. So yeah, we're totally different because we're a one-stop shop.
All right. So, as a very successful entrepreneur and artist developer, what are some of the qualities that are essential for thriving in the current creative market? Any suggestions you could give to our listeners?
Well, first of all, you have to stand out. You need something different. There's so many copycat artists, and I can understand why there are. It's because a lot of the record label executives are put into this position where if their artist doesn't blow up and win, then they lose their jobs. And so they try to pick something that sounded like the last big hit. But that's not the way to really make it. It's by filling a niche that hasn't been filled. Obviously, now you're going to have the ability to monetize it. And so we're going to unleash a whole bunch of creativity and originality through MusicSoul. But you need to have the discipline to wear many hats. And it's an entrepreneurial journey. You can't just make great music and expect that to take you where you want to go. You need
So, is this your full time endeavor right now, or are you still involved in the music industry?
This is my full time endeavor right now. I mean, I want to fix the music industry before I devote many more hours. I mean, I've been in the music industry my entire life, and it's now time to fix a broken system.
All right. So, we're coming up to the end of the show, and I just wanted to ask real quick, what are some of the challenges that you faced in building yourself in your enterprise into what it is today?
Some of the challenges I've faced. I mean, I've dealt with several unethical people along
You
the
mean the
way.
music industry? No.
People who would sell their grandmother down the river for $5. You have to be your own best advocate in this business, because no one's going to be looking out for you. You need to be able to have the wherewithal, if you don't know a skill set, to learn it. You have to understand networking, your business sense, legalities, making sure that you connect with the right lawyers, entertainment attorneys, and whatnot, getting the right paperwork in place. A lot of times that creates a lot of confrontation that you'll need to handle to be able to negotiate these deals. Marketing, to be able to present yourself in the correct way. Certainly a lot more than just the talent side of it, which is you have to be great at your craft and understand the marketplace to be able
Sure.
to.
Well, there's a major difference between being talented and developing skill. And the only way to develop skill is to spend hours and hours beating at your craft. So I just want to thank you for joining us today and talking about yourself, your endeavors. I can't wait to see what Music Soul is going to do. I'm going to continue to bug you to get updates, and hopefully we can share them with our audience. Maybe we get you back on. If you would
Absolutely.
like to look Wendy up, her Instagram is at Wendy Starland. And please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for attending today's show. This is Enterprise Unleashed, Business Law and Innovation.
Thanks so much for having me.